Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Mullin, how do you determine when a court order is political or not?
Well, typically when it's overturned by a higher court.
So in the interim period, when it's on appeal, do you follow that court order?
Sir, we enforce the law every single day. We don't pick and choose which law we enforce. We simply.
I'm not talking about the law. I'm talking about a court order.
But it is a law. So we're enforcing the law every single day.
Okay, because yesterday the thing that concerned me is that you would not certify to Senator Murphy that you will follow the court orders.
What I said is
even
the exact
if
same
you
answer I gave you right now.
Sorry?
I gave him the exact same answer I gave you. We'll enforce the nation's laws. That we don't pick and choose which law we enforce the nation's laws. But it is.
So then why is it relevant whether it's political or not?
Because we see lower benches and even upper benches that make decisions based on political reasons, not just
So who makes that decision? You say we see it. Who decides that it's
all
political?
the time? Tell me it hasn't happened. You guys complained about it when the Biden administration was in office.
I didn't say that. You said it. You said you see it all the time.
We enforce
Do you
the law.
decide that?
Congressman, I said we're going to enforce the law. We don't pick and choose which law. We enforce the nation's laws. Full stop.
So you will follow court orders. Is that?
I said we'll enforce the nation's laws.
Now, you are aware, I'm sure, of a case in New York related to the arrests at immigration courthouses. In March, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York wrote an extraordinary letter to a judge accusing an ICE lawyer of concealing a memo from both the U.S. Attorney's Office and the judge. And that memo specifically undermined the policy that ICE was using to arrest immigrants at immigration courthouses. You're familiar with that?
I'm actually not.
You're not? Okay. Well, that is what happened. It's a little disappointing to me that you're not familiar with that.
I don't know the number of cases we have that could we get sued.
Well, this is the question, though.
So.
I worked in the Department of Justice for 10 years. I've never seen a letter like that where a representation by a government agency to a court that another government agency actively concealed a memo that ultimately changed the decision. Has there been any disciplinary action taken on that ICE agency lawyer?
I'm not familiar with the case. I already said that.
Well, that's disappointing to me because
so we get hundreds.
You get hundreds, but I trust you. You do not get letters like this to courts from the U.S. Attorney's Office accusing their own government colleague in a different agency of concealing a memo. And now the problem is,
I would have to see it before I take your full.
That's fine. You should also look at the judge's order, where he then prohibited any arrests at immigration courthouses at the 3 federal buildings in New York City. Are you aware of that order?
I don't believe he has the authority to do that. Because when they're on final order,
you don't think he has the authority to do that?
When they're on final order, we pick them up after the court case. That's law. So where are we supposed to arrest them if they're on final order and it gets denied?
Sir, they're not going for a final order of removal. They are going for their asylum case.
You just said a blanket statement. You didn't give preference to it. I said if it's a final order. You said they're not supposed to arrest any. That's what you just said.
At immigration courthouses.
If they're on final order of removal and they filed their last appeal, then we have the right to pick them up and deport them.
That never happens. Never. No appeal ever happens at a courtroom in immigration court. Okay? What happens every day and thousands of times against your own policy is that people who are here lawfully seeking lawful status go to court because they're required to do so. And then they come out of court and they're snatched by your ICE officers. They're arrested. They're sent to Delaney Hall. They're sent to the MDC. They are not the worst of the worst. They have no records. And you know how we have no record? They have no records? Because those 2 facilities are low security. They are not allowed to go there if they have serious criminal convictions.
Delaney Hall has.
I didn't ask a question. I didn't ask a question,
You made an accusation.
I reclaim my time.
666 people that's in Delaney Hall, 228 are serious felons.
I reclaim my time. I would like extra time, please. So the problem is that they are being arrested without a final order of removal. Judge Castell a Bush appointee, I don't know if that matters in the political calculation, has ordered that to be stopped. Are you going to stop that same process outside of New York City because it applies equally every single place in this country?
The gentleman's time has expired, and I
would
will.
like for
I
him
will.
to
I will
answer
remind
this.
the gentleman's time's expired. I will remind the witness that when this is the member's time, when they reclaim it, please allow them to move on. I am trying to hold everybody to the 5 minutes. I'm letting him try to answer when these are important, because these are important questions, everyone. I'm trying to let him answer, but I will still keep order here. So, witnesses, when the time is reclaimed, please allow the member to continue. Their time is limited to 5 minutes.
It's a simple question. Can he answer it?
No, your time's now expired, and I will recognize the gentleman
Well,
from...
way to run interference.
No, your time was limited to 5 minutes, and you started with the statement.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.